Family TV. My beautiful name as usual is Clare Bwenje, your world's favorite host. How is your Sunday? How are you doing? And praise the living God. Well, we are back. We are back. We are back in a very, very good style. Guess what? Meanwhile, some of us are there crying, rain, rain, rain. But, some Mark somewhere has his full-time sunshine. Today I bring you the beautiful story of Mark and Daisy Sunshine, the Kisakye. They are here to tell us to tell their story of how and when they met. Ladies and gentlemen out there, please welcome them, the How We Met show way of la 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 la. Hi, hi. Happy to have you on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, Daisy.
Hi.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Happy to have you on How We Met show.
It's an honor to be here.
Okay, okay. Hi, Mark.
Hi,
Happy to have you on the show.
thank you so much.
So when it
Glad to be
rains,
here.
it doesn't bother you. You have your full-time sunshine.
Yeah.
Well, well, well. That's so beautiful. We thank God for that. Would you please say hello to the viewers and we start our show?
Hi everybody, I am glad to be here. Mark Kisakye is my name and
My
my
name is
sunshine,
Daisy. Daisy Sunshine. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, happy to have you. So how are you? Just tell us about yourself. How is it like YouTubers, I'm told? Yes, Shanona, Shanona.
Okay, so I do work on social media, on Instagram and on YouTube.
Okay.
We share about marriage, family, parenting, and just a godly lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you can find me Daisy Sunshine. And then I speak for you. He's a car enthusiast on Instagram and YouTube as well.
Oh.
And he gives car tips and can also help you import cars. Free
eh.
Kalango. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
where we are. Yeah.
Oh, so how is that life? You know, celebs in the building and then you're back home. Okay, tell us, how is it like, you know, on social media, people meet you and they're like, hi, I'm your fan and all that. And when you reach home, you know, do you carry the celebrity thing at home or you just leave it somewhere? And
I don't even know if we carry the celebrity thing anywhere. 'Cause I think when you're doing it for God, there's a certain humility that you need to
Exactly.
keep. I don't think it has ever gotten to my head to think of myself as a celebrity, and I keep praying and asking God, please no. Yeah, because I feel like it will hinder
I know,
the work that I do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it for God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will also hinder the marriage. Like we can end up feeling like
Yeah.
everyone
Oh,
knows
yeah.
me.
Everyone knows
I am who I am. Yeah.
Straight to
And
our show today. We are excited. We want to know how and when you met. Straight out to you.
Yeah, I think I'll start because my story is the most accurate.
Also, you think.
Wait.
It's the most accurate and because I think I remember more details.
I
think.
probably lost some brain cells from pregnancy.
Yeah, but I think we met in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2011 we were in school. We were in the same class. So we were studying and concentrating on our books, but somehow our friends and acquaintances, we somehow ended up being in the same space a lot of times. And so I found that she was a nice person. I think she thought I was a nice person as well. I'm not sure. But the real friendship sort of came after maybe a year or so, where we sort of realized we shared similar dreams and similar interests and similar ideas of opinions of life. And then we chose to just be friends. Yeah. Do you want me to continue or you want to go?
My memory says we met in 2012.
Oh,
Well,
that's
that's when I noticed him.
Okay,
Yeah, so you
okay.
probably noticed me in 2011, but I noticed him in 2012.
I didn't notice you in 2011.
So you really started in 2011.
We met in 2011 as classmates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're
So
just
2012 is when I actually started to notice him, and by then we were working on our friendship. I think we're sitting next to each other during our recess, and we just got to talking and doing work together. Yeah, so I think that's where it started. When the actual relationship started in 2013 November.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we are interested in that bit
That
of
one.
when it started. How, and why?
Go. Why?
Okay, my submission is like the final.
Okay.
Yeah, so when 2013, end of 2013, we decided to walk this journey together of an intentional relationship towards a long time marriage or so. And we agreed that we would be as pure as possible until the day we get married. Yeah.
So you were both born again at that time, or okay?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
both born again.
Yes.
So he did this whole elaborate. I was in a hostel at campus. He asked my roommate for the key, so he set up candles. He had chocolate. I don't know what else was there.
I didn't have money.
And,
So
and then he asked me to
Yeah.
be his girlfriend. Yeah, so that's where that journey
Really started, yeah.
from,
Okay.
yeah.
Didn't you feel like, okay, if we start dating at school, it will affect our performance or what?
No, not at all. And something that I liked, even before he asked me, I think our parents already knew about
Your
us,
friendship?
our friendship.
Okay.
I would go with him to my parents' office and what. So it just felt pure and
Just as a
special.
friend, or
just as a friend. Like, this is my
Friends,
friend.
yeah.
But of course, even our parents, so
no,
just
they were like,
there must be
Yeah.
something here. Yeah, so when we did eventually tell them that we were dating, they were not shocked, but then they would ask, what is dating?
yeah.
My father, what is dating?
Yeah,
What are you
what is-
doing when
yeah,
you're
exactly.
dating? Yeah. So after that, I think we finished university like 2 years after that, and then he proposed in Feb of 2016.
after school.
Mhm.
Did it actually affect your performance, or
Not at all.
not at all?
It didn't affect our performance at all. Probably affected his budget. Because
Mm.
you're
Yeah.
dating, you're trying to prove a point to a girl,
Yeah.
so you find that you'd have to come to my hostel every day because maybe we have to see each other, and our hostels were far apart.
So
you
Mark,
tell us.
tell us, where was that company coming from? Manage economy those days.
Yeah, it was not economic, but well, I had a small business, a small juice selling business, so it really helped on top of the pocket money, because they used to give us pocket money maybe weekly or so. So the combination of the two would, in a way, help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think another thing that helped is that when we started dating, we started intentionally working with a couple, a mentor couple who ended up being our best man. And they held our hands through that journey and helped us to remain accountable, to remain pure, and yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually his idea.
Hey.
To do that.
Hey,
Yeah.
mama. One of
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so I feel like intentionally dating
Okay.
helped us to remain focused in school, but also on the relationship, to make sure like both are growing and none is suffering.
Okay, then what really convinced you that Mark isn't it the right person, or my special one? What really convinced you?
Our values aligned.
Okay.
Our values aligned on so many boxes. He ticked so many of those boxes, and I could see that his heart was after God's. And for me, that was very important for me, because once your heart is focused on God, then all these other things are going to fall in place, especially if it's genuinely focused on God. So for me, that was a big one for me. And of course, he's tall, dark, and handsome.
That's what you're looking at.
Yeah, and
Okay.
in S1, I was in Gaza. In S1, one of the prayers they made us pray that I found so weird was pray for your husband. So me, I just prayed for a tall, dark, and handsome man. Yeah. So
Prayer
now,
answered, like, oh,
yeah. So now when I
Mama.
seeing a godly man, then he's tall, dark, and handsome, I was just like, God, thank you.
This must be the guy.
This must be the guy. Yeah.
And from you, Mark, what really convinced you that this is the one? There is no more doubt.
Yeah, well, when we started dating, so when I asked her to be my girlfriend, I wasn't sure, to be honest. I wasn't sure. And it was just to make sure that it's official, that actually this is a serious relationship, and if everything checks out, I'm really comfortable spending the rest of my life with you. And so what really made me convinced to actually say, you know what, she's the one that is going to be the one. One, most importantly was the beauty. She is such a beautiful woman. Yeah, the looks, and then
Some tissues.
yeah, and then a lot of things that happen in our lives as we grow up, they sort of stem from how we grew up, and so I was seeing a lot of qualities that I saw my mom had, yeah, in her. So she was so careful. Like, we're crossing the road, I'm helping her to cross the road, but she's like, wait, this guy's going to knock you, or things like that. When I'm unwell, she's very concerned. When she is, in question, I'm trying to understand what exactly are you doing? How are you doing in school? What have you submitted your assignment? And just all that kind of care was very, very useful for me.
Okay.
And also, there are points where we actually did some coursework together. We sort of merged groups, and so we were able to submit our coursework together. And yeah, I think it was such a very good friendship that it was just inevitable to actually choose to live together for a longer period of time. Yeah, because now imagine she's your best friend, then you get another chick, and she becomes your wife. Then what do you do with this one? It kind of could easily confuse the whole.
Okay, just to ask, did you have a list of things that you would want to see in your future wife? Just asking, did you have them?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes.
You had written them down, or they were just like, yeah?
No, I hadn't written them down, but men, I think we're so visual. We're very visual. And I don't think anyone should lie to you that a man will choose a woman because of other things except her looks. So usually, yeah, if that checks out, then now you start looking at the other things.
So the look was number one?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa, dear viewer.
Yeah.
Ladies out there, please, quickly, you know, sort yourself. Yeah. Anyways, we will take a very quick break as you take a look at their memory lane. Please enjoy that. Well, I'm so sure you enjoyed that. Yay! Ravu! Hey! Well, to you, Daisy, did you ever, like I asked Mark, did you ever have a list as you were growing up? I'm told you said at Gayaza they told you, pray for your husband. Did you ever write down the things that you would want to see in your future husband? And just to ask, if, for example, that person you liked has like 5 out of a 10, would you still go in with them?
I don't think I would still go in for someone who just has some. I had the fundamentals that I was not compromising on, and that was someone's character and where your heart was. And seeing that he had a heart for God and his heart was after God, for me that was number one. And then of course how he looked, because I have to be able to look at you every day for the rest of my life and find you attractive.
I mean, you can't risk
but now you also can't be attractive physically and you're not attractive spiritually and character-wise. Yeah, so I also wanted that, because if we're living together for the rest of my life, I don't expect you maybe to shout at me or shout at people and just start having an altercation in a supermarket just because your character is flawed in that area. For me, that was very important to me, and I couldn't compromise on those.
But on top of that, I think our friendship, we were friends for a long time, from 2012, and even 2013 when we actually said, okay, let's make this a more serious relationship, it was really more like a friendship. So in that friendship, there are things that sort of check out over time.
But and there are things that you can change along the way.
Yeah, there are some things that can change along the way. I can't change things in him unless he wants to change. But those things, if for anyone who is dating out there, those things shouldn't be like the fundamentals that can affect someone's character. Like say if when he's angry, he raises his voice. And for him, he just says, this is how I am. I've grown up seeing my father doing this, and he has no intention of changing it. You're also not going to be able to change it unless you're Jesus. Yeah, so there are some things that are heart issues, and every time you notice something, ask yourself if this thing never changes, will I be okay still being with this person? If it's a yes, then go ahead. If it's a no, then rethink.
The earlier the better.
Yeah, rethink.
It says the earlier the better. Anyways,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you kept yourselves pure for that time. How easy or how hard was it actually for you?
Very hard. Very hard because we're spending a lot of time together. We're in the same class, we'll do assignments together, although sometimes in a group. It was very hard, and because you're attracted to each other, you are young, your parents are not there, it's not easy. But when you know who you're doing it for, like ultimately God is watching you, even in that closed room where no one is, no one might ever get to know. You might even travel to another district and no one knows you, but God knows you. Yeah, so that I feel like that kept us grounded. Yeah.
But also just the accountability, the people that we
Held us
held us accountable. It was also just scary to tell them, oh, by the way, you know what, this happened.
Yeah.
So it
kept
kept
us
us in check. On top of that, also, I think we had the decision of actually doing it, right? It could have easily happened, but there are so many things which now personally I had my own reservations. One, I don't know your status yet. Are you HIV positive or negative? You know, all those things. Then there are those things they taught us while growing up. They help in school. If she gets pregnant, you're going to be responsible. Remember, you have no money. So what are you going to do with that person?
So the consequences.
Yeah. And it was difficult. Even our friends asked us. So there's some friends of ours who asked us, have you guys already, like your relationship is ripe. Like, why don't you guys just try this thing out? But we knew that God we feared, but also we had accountability people ahead of us. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's beautiful, and we thank God that you were able to keep yourself so pure.
Yeah.
Now you've been married for 7 years. What would you tell your old single self? Your young single self.
What I would tell my younger self is to continue to do the inner work. Yeah, because it's very easy for us to have our identity in a relationship and you being married. I remember I looked forward to being married. I looked forward to just us, our relationship, our little bubble, and it's easy for that to become an idol. So what I would have done was to do more self-work, because now we got married and you find that you're realizing some flaws, because marriage has a way of pointing out and real highlighting your flaws, and I feel like it did that. So during the dating period, I would have really concentrated on the self-work. Yeah.
I think mine would be more practical. I would try to create a small support group of single guys, fellow single guys, and actually try to walk this journey with them. Yeah, because there's a lot of popcorn kind of relationships. So there are so many girls who are in relationships and so many guys who are in relationships, but there's no community of such people. And I think maybe it's an initiative I would take at that time to get in touch with all the guys who I know are in relationships, whether 2 years or 1 year or whatever months, and try to see how we can actually listen or learn from people who have already got married and make decisions together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I had someone mention that love is blind. They say love is blind, but
Very.
marriage is an eye opener.
Let me just add. Also, when we got married, we hardly had any financial education. I feel like that's something that would also do earlier, especially while we're dating. Just equip ourselves with financial literacy and how to handle money well, saving, investments, and things like that. I feel like we wasted a lot of money.
Of course, yeah. What do you want? This. Oh, let's go and buy.
or the wedding, I have to have this, and then you pay for something, and then later on, after you get married, that's when you realize, you know what, I don't even need a reception. yeah, I think there's some decisions
did
would
you
have done.
buy your gown and you're changing?
No,
right?
that one at least I had that wisdom. I didn't buy the gown. I had one custom made, but for hire.
Oh,
Yeah,
at least,
yeah.
at least. A friend of mine is stuck with everything in that suitcase. It's like, if I only knew.
My
But
cousins kept telling me, Daisy, don't buy your gown. You're going to suffer with storage because it's a big
Absolutely.
thing.
Big.
Yeah,
It's a whole
yeah.
big
So that
thing.
one at least I already knew. Yeah, but
Nice.
other things.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's so interesting. So, did you enter your marriage with expectations, and were those expectations met or what?
That's a fantastic question. Very good question, and it's such a huge debate amongst
You have all time.
married people and single people, because so many people have the opinion of please go, just get in with no expectation whatsoever, and find what you find there. Then there are those who say go with expectations, and if they are not met, yeah. But during our counseling, premarital counseling. One of our counselors, they told us, you know what, here's a list and here's a list. So write down at least 20 things that,
All the expectations.
all the expectations, and give them to her. And then same thing, right? And it's an exercise that helped us because I sort of knew her expectations and she knew mine. Even when some were not met, at least she knew that I had a certain expectations, and I also knew that she had certain expectations.
Actually, something that those counselors went on to tell us was, it's impossible for you not to have expectations. It's like when you walk into, they tell you this is where the toilet is. When you walk in, you expect to find a toilet, not a table and a chair. Yeah. So when you walk into marriage, obviously you have expectations, but those expectations should be written in pencil, ready for you. Like if they're not achieved, then that's fine. So the reason why we exchanged the papers was so that each of us could know the other person's expectations, but just know that I might be able to achieve them or I might not, and that should be fine. But I should know them. Like maybe once in a while, if your expectation was maybe sex 5 times a day, and on this day I have energy, we go in and do it, but it might not happen all through the marriage. So it's okay for you to have expectations, but don't pinpoint your spouse to those expectations all the time. Yeah.
So
At all, anyway.
Okay, at all. Okay. So if, for example, I need my expectations to be met, and the other person is like, okay, not now, maybe. So how do you actually help someone who wants their expectations to be met? That time is not an easy one. What's your advice to such a person? How can you help them?
I would say communicate. Sometimes we have expectations and we expect our minds to be read. You're not married to a mind reader, so communicate those expectations. And then you can try and find middle ground because you are a couple, you are friends. I assume that you are friends. Find middle ground. Maybe your expectation is I want a car. And he tells you, I don't have the money, but there's a deal that's coming in maybe like 2 years' time that might give me the money. So are you willing to compromise? Or maybe he tells you, I only have 5 million. Can you bring the 15? Or do you have 15? And then you see, like, find middle ground. And then sometimes the expectation is just not able to be met. And you have to be okay with that. Yeah, so just know that you're not married to a miracle worker. This is a human being. Also pray for him to be able to arrive at the page on which you are, because sometimes some of these things require prayer, but communicate, pray, and compromise.
I can add on to
Yes.
what Sha said with a basic example. One of my expectations was cooking. I wanted her to cook for me every day, and I wanted nice food. Yeah. Her expectation was tender, loving, extra care, right? Extra care. Now, life happens, right? We have work to do. We sometimes will come back home late.
We have 3 kids.
She could be pregnant, etc., etc. And so, my expectation of her cooking for me all the time couldn't be met and even her expectation of what me providing for her that extra care and being so present and holding her hand and all that could not be all the time. Why? Sometimes I come back home, I'm tired. Sometimes she'll come back home, she's tired. Both of us are tired. Sometimes we could miss dinner just because of both of us having fatigue. Yeah. So the expectation topic is at least important for your partner to know, them to know where your mind is at, what you kind of wish would be great. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do
Yeah.
you really get the paper and throw it in the trash? Or do you forget about it, or you just keep hoping that
You don't forget about it. It's just like when we pray to God, because marriage really mimics our relationship with God. You tell God, I want this, I want a Range Rover, I want what, and some of his answers are yes, no, and maybe, or wait. Yeah. So in that waiting season, how are you waiting? So expectations, we didn't throw them in the bin, but you make your expectation. No, and now you wait. If it's going to be a yes, a no, or a wait. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Our time is running real fast.
Sure.
But what's your advice to a single girl out there planning for marriage or planning for a wedding? What is your advice to a gent out there a single gent out there planning for marriage and planning for a wedding?
Yeah, if you're planning for your wedding, really focus on the marriage. Do as much counseling as you can. Talk to as many couples, especially couples that hold the same values, couples that you admire. Talk to as many couples as possible. And then regarding the wedding, if the money is not there, please don't borrow. Don't get into debt for the wedding. Find your non-negotiables. Like maybe I have to have this gown, or find like 2 of them, and then the rest you leave. If you walk into the reception and you see that the flowers are pink instead of being blue, let it go. Like we won't even remember the color. What are the colors of our flowers? We don't remember. Yeah, so find your non-negotiables, the things that you really want. Some people will say maybe it's the gown and photography, because photos you keep on looking at them. So really find your non-negotiables and stick to those. If you don't have the budget, do not borrow. Work with what you have.
Thank you, Daisy.
Yeah. Wisdom for the gent who is going to get married. The most important thing that you want to know is that you are 2 imperfect people. And so the woman you're getting is perfect right now. She's beautiful.
She looks perfect.
She has fantastic smile, lips, what? Okay. For now I'll stop there. But once you get married, somehow all those things can pass by. And then you see the real woman that you married. And God has given you that person for a purpose. So you have to be ready to be understanding. That is Ephesians 5, verse 20, 25, just to be sure. You have to be ready to actually love your wife in an understanding way, because both of you are actually joint heirs with Christ in the family of God. So remember to actually choose her because she's a child of God, rather than pushing her or squeezing her because she's not fulfilling what you thought she would do. Some people have landed in marriages where the wife can't cook. What do you do? Are you going to chase her away? Probably not. I know of a guy who actually agreed with the wife that she would go to YMCA and learn how to cook. And she did a whole 2 years or so, and she's, I think, one of the best cooks out there.
Thank you. Will you please give us your parting shots and we close the show?
Yeah, God must be at the center of your marriage. There are some things that will never be solved by counseling, reading books, or anything. It's how much time you spend with God together and as an individual intentionally for your marriage. Yeah, God is one who must be feared at all times. And so if He is at the center of your marriage, chances are very low for it to fail.
Yeah. And keep communication at the core. Make sure that the communication doesn't break down. The moment you stop talking, then the devil has time to speak to each of you in isolation. So keep the communication lines clear. If you find that now we're just communicating about everyday things, we need this, the kids need this, like your communication is now headlines, then maybe organize a counseling session, talk to somebody so that you can start to connect again, and your communication is about in-depth things. How are you? How can I be a better wife? How can I support you? How do you need me to help you this week? Yeah, so communication.
One more point
Yes,
would be do not compare your marriage to somebody else's marriage, because I think it's a growing trend, especially the wives, mostly, forgive me, sort of stressing their husbands, in quote stressing their husbands. Why don't we do this? Take me here, do this for
Take me on
me.
vacation.
When you're holding my
They are seeing
hand.
Instagram
So
Couple goals.
yeah, the social media is, it's also vanity. But when the actual foundation of your marriage is struggling, do not compare your marriage to somebody else. Some marriages in the first 3 years or so, they bought land, built houses. Other marriages, the first 3 years have twins. Other marriages, the first 3 years have no child, and all this kind of dynamics. Do not compare
It's your journey.
It's your journey. Every marriage has its journey.
Wow, thank you,
Thank
Mark,
you.
and thank you so much, Daisy. It's been a great pleasure to have you on this
Thank
show.
you.
We
Thank you for
enjoyed
having
every bit
us.
of it. To your dear viewer, don't forget that this show is in partnership with Life Ministry Uganda. You can always check them out on their website or social media platforms. They'll be happy to have a quick chat with you. I've been with you all this time and I enjoy every bit of it. Clare, Bwenje, your world's favorite host. We sign out and see you again next Sunday, 5:30. It's bye-bye.